And I know I keep promising this. I want to show this picture. So this was 2017. This was really what got it started for me. I went to Berkeley, and I went out there with my Stop Liberal Intolerance sign, and I actually had a MAGA hat to start the day. And by wearing a MAGA hat, and there was a Trump flag that was actually on the side of that sign, I was trying to have dialogue, trying to find common ground with folks. And for doing that, I got attacked by Antifa. I ended up getting 13 stitches in my head. They cut the top of my ear off. I had to get that sewn back on. And this
is that your own blood on that
that's
sign?
That's my own blood. And I actually still have the sign.
That is legendary.
And the shirt. And that was an hour and a half afterwards. I waited. My wife was 8 months pregnant with our second daughter. I had dropped them off. I said, babe, I'm going to go to this protest. I'm going to, do some videos. I was totally independent at the time.
I'm sure your wife loved that, by the way.
Yeah, well, she trusted me, and so I dropped her off. And sadly, Chloe was 6 years old, our oldest daughter. And when I said, I'm going to drop you off, and I'll call you when I'm ready to get picked up. Well, they broke my phone, so I had to call on somebody else's phone and say, babe, they broke my phone. I need stitches. Everything's okay. But I had to go get stitches. Chloe, when she saw me, for the next couple years afterwards, anytime I said I was going out to a protest, she said, no, Daddy, don't go. She'd come and hug me, say, Daddy, don't go. Because she remembers that image. And that was one of the pivotal turning points in my life where I said, first off, is this worth it? Because I realized how violent and evil these people are. And really, it's not the people. It's not the flesh and blood that we're battling. It's the principalities and powers of darkness that are leading them. That would make them say that that's okay. They would actually celebrate that image right there. Some people watching this, if they're Antifa or BLM or any of these guys, would look at that and say, great, that's what we want to see.
We stopped a fascist.
Yeah, we hit punch a Nazi, their argument. Yeah. All of this nonsense. But then I realized if I don't do it as the husband, as the leader of my household, as the husband of my wife and the father of my children, then they're going to have to deal with this. And that's what we are in. We are in a cultural war, a spiritual war, and it is good versus evil, light versus darkness. And if you're not standing for light, you're allowing the darkness in.
Well, Ben, I really want to touch on something you said earlier because I think it's so important. Going back to this Ghost concert, going back to the protests, right? We keep circling back to this Ghost concert, but it's important to note, Ben had such a good point. There are so many human beings, it's natural instinct to want to belong to something and feel like they can fit in. So if we aren't grasping these people, the dark energy and the dark forces are.
Yeah. And they're just looking for somewhere to go. We've got to be that light to say, you're welcome, come here, be my friend. And look, not everyone's, we run into people even at these events that are kind of weird, and you're like, oh man, it's hard to love you. But it is, we have to do our best to do that and say, whatever I can do to be that light, to find a place, to help somebody, and even if it's just for a moment, to love on that person for a moment, to let them know that they're loved, they're important, they have a purpose in life. They're not going nowhere. You're going somewhere. There's more to life than just you being an empty clump of cells that then dies and goes to nothing. There's more to this life than that. And if we can just speak that into people, you'll save them from going into that.
Well said, Ben.